Well, I became Muslim a couple of years ago, and it was actually a very long process for me. That I started reading and being interested about it for many years. But I never really, before it was just like a little bit of interested, but I never really did anything with it. I didn't do much with it. So I ever asked someone, a colleague of mine, like, oh, you have a Quran, can I borrow it? Can I read it? But then we didn't see each other for a long time, and I just thought, okay, let's forget about it, and I don't read it. And then actually when I went to university, I studied South and Southeast Asia studies. And then I took courses on Islam, like Introduction of Islam, Islamic law, and some other about Islam in Indonesia, in Africa, and other places. That's actually when I started to learn more about it. It was also that at the same time I was searching God. But for me, being Dutch, the most logic thing was to search for God in a church. But in reading more about Islam also and about church history, I actually thought it actually convinced me that Islam was the right teaching. So I respect Christians and Christianity, and I know some things about the Bible. I've read the Bible, but for me, it was very clear that it was Islam. And yeah, my deepest wish was just to live for God, and so that's why I was searching. Well, it was actually after my husband died, and I was alone with my child, and it was a very difficult time. So that's when I started to search more about it, and when I also wanted to convert, because this was this very clear moment for me that this was living for God was important. Like, you have your life here in this world, but it's temporary, and I realized that. After I converted, I didn't tell people because I was the only one. I didn't know any Muslims. So it was a very sort of lonely time also. And I got doubts after it. I thought, why am I different? Why am I different than the rest? Why don't I just fit in? Like, everybody's Christian. Why don't I just try to fit in? And then after that, I worked in a refugee center. And it was the first time for me that there were a majority of Muslims around me. And then it was Ramadan. And then I thought, but I'm Muslim too, and nobody knows. And then I couldn't hide, and I just thought I need to tell people. And then I was still scared, but about the reactions. But I also knew, like, I don't want to go back. I'm Muslim. I want to be able to live as a Muslim. And I also started to wear the headscarf. So a couple of months ago, I started to wear the headscarf part-time, and not in my town yet because I didn't feel very safe. But 3 months ago, I started to wear it full-time outside, so also in my town, in my hometown. And then, of course, people knew, and responses were very negative. So I lost a lot of people. People generally see it as something negative. It's difficult for me is where I live, is that people know that I'm a Muslim and they want to push me into converting to Christianity. So that's what they use Christmas for. So I get a lot of cards of people I don't know, books. One day I heard, on the morning, I heard somebody was putting a lot of things in my mailbox. And I thought, that's odd because it's Saturday, there's no mail delivery, and I didn't order anything. So I went to check what was in it, and I found 51 Christmas cards in once. It was a church action, actually. And I didn't open them, but on the back of the envelopes, some of the names were written of the people who sent it. And I thought, I don't even know these people. So I called the church, I said, you can pick up your cards because I don't want this kind of actions. I don't feel comfortable with that. It's too much... like, they put this pressure on me. Yeah. And I think I respect you, and please respect me too. Yeah. If you know that Islam is true and you know it in your heart, then you just follow that. And also right now, Allah gives me the strength to be open about it and to not be scared also in my town. And of course, sometimes I feel a bit of fear. I really experience getting the strength to stay strong in it.